our presentations for today. Then after our presentations, we'll go through some likely questions, quiz, and examinable questions together so that we can all um, prepare ourselves adequately for our upcoming quiz and examination. Yeah, so um, we start with our presentations, okay? But we have four groups, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we have four groups. Okay, so a group that will start our presentation for us. Um, let's start with um, okay, okay. Hold on for me. Okay, let's start with group one. Yeah, let's start with group one.
All right, madam.
So, group one members, please start organizing yourself, start presenting your slide. And I hope you have sent me your weight via my email already so that I can follow suit whilst do your presentation. Try as much as possible to mention your name and your index number before you present so that I know who is presenting and all that. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, madam. Hey. Um. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
All right. This is group one, and we are made up of 7 members. And then the members are Millicent Abadixon, Obin Prempe, Obin Prince Chairman, Emmanuel Che Opon, Lamek Dodu, Cheneboa Anderson, Yvonne Abu, Bonsra, and then Jesse Lawrence Boa. So these are the members, and then we have our index numbers over there. So I am now going to share my slide, and then I'll start with the presentation. Thank you. Please, I hope you can see from my screen.
Yes, we can see, please.
All right. So, like I said, we are group one. The course title, Nature of Economics, called Course over there. And then we are presenting on these various questions. Now, our questions for the presentation are these. One, we are to define School of Economic.
Okay, so I don't intend to cut you off. I don't intend to cut you off, Lawrence, but unfortunately, all that I can see is our Google names and all that, but we can't see your slide. I don't know whether you have shared the slide.
Yes, I am sure.
Have you shared the slide?
Yes, please. Please, can you see the slide?
Yes.
So
Yes,
with what I'm seeing, is this a slide? This one is more of a word document, not a slide.
No, no, please. It's a slide. I don't know if you can please can someone see from this?
I can see.
Yes, we can see a slide.
Uh, yeah, I'm seeing it, but looking at the way and manner that it's presented,
Madam, this is how
are
so I'm
you
trying.
making a landscape, but not a portrait? If that's
Okay,
okay.
all right. Is this okay? Please. Hello.
hi.
Please, is this okay?
I believe the first one is better than this one.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing, but you can just go ahead.
Okay,
You
please.
can just go ahead
Let
because
me
honestly, I'm struggling to see the font size. The font size is really faint. I'm not able to. Do you have a laptop or something? Do you
now
have a
now
laptop? You don't have a laptop.
no, please. I'm using a phone right now.
Yeah, because this looks more like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I understand because it looks more fake. It's fine. Let's just do it that way.
Okay. So please, we are to present on the School of Economic Thoughts. That was one we had to explain, or we define the School of Economic Thought. And then two, explain the mercantilist school, and then explain four standpoints of this school. And then the last one, we had to explain six characteristics of the mercantilist school, and then two weaknesses of the school of thought. So these are the questions we are going to present on this morning. To begin with, please, can you see? It's very faint.
Uh, Part of the slide is not there.
Okay, madam. Hello. Hello.
Lawrence,
Madam.
sorry. I can't see your slide being shared
Okay, so madam,
so that others can follow.
let me
No, we can't see it.
oh really? Madam, let me get a laptop so that I will transfer it to that. So if it will be
Yes,
possible, we should let
Lawrence.
another group
Yes,
start.
Lawrence, I can hear you.
I will get back to you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
No, I'm saying on the issue of the slides and the font. I'm saying if
Okay.
a different group can start so that I will get a laptop and then make transfer and join with the laptop and I will share the screen with the laptop if that will be possible.
Oh, it's fine. I'm just saying that it's fine. It's fine. You can share it with the phone. Then because I want your other mates to also see what you are presenting. Okay, so you can use the phone whilst any member of the group get a laptop to later reshare or something. Okay,
All right.
that's fine. Is it okay?
Yes, please, it's okay.
Lawrence,
Madam,
please, is that okay?
yes,
All right,
please.
sure, thank you.
So to begin with, the economic school of
Lawrence,
thought or the school of
you can
hello.
you can send it to me so that I share it here.
All right, all right. Okay. Please, who spoke?
Ajingo. I've chatted you on WhatsApp.
Okay, so let me stop sharing my madam. I will be back in 2 minutes time. Thank you.
All right, that's fine. So, is there any member of the group that can start whilst he fixes his internet or how to share and all that?
Okay, so good morning, colleagues. This is Millicent Abadixon. So, as our learner colleague Lawrence Boa was saying, we are presenting on um, we are defining School of Economic Thoughts, explain the mercantilist school, and then explain 4 standpoints of this school. And the C is to explain 6 characteristics and 2 weaknesses of the school of thought. So to begin with, we are going to define the school of thought. That is, in economic, a school of thought is a group of economists who share a broadly common perspective on how to study
Please,
economic
can you see?
phenomena.
Sorry for interruption. Please, can you see the slides? I've shared it. Can you all see it?
Yes.
Yes, we can, please.
Okay.
Ajingo why nini na?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jingo. And madam, I'm back.
Please start.
Okay, so Mr. Jingo, let's go. Please let's move. All right. So hello, madam. Oh, she left. So please, let's start. If when she comes, we will continue. So in economics, a school of thought is a group of economists who share broadly common perspective on how to study economic phenomena and with features of economic life are most important. But within that, they may focus on different subtopics, use different methods, reach different conclusions. So there are many schools of economic thought, and some of the school of economic thought include the mercantilist school of thought, the physiocratic school of thought, the classical, and then the Keynesian school of thought. So, like we said, when a group of economics use different approaches, they think from different perspective, different background, with different methods, and then they will all have a different conclusion on how or on a specific economic phenomena. Now we call that School of Economic Thought. Please, is Madam on?
No, she isn't.
Lawrence, you have to wait for Madam because he's the one coming to award the marks.
Yes, please. I have to. Let me go ahead.
So call and find out.
Please, let's wait for Madam to join us.
Lawrence, it seems Madam is in, so you can start.
Madam, welcome back. Hello, Madam. Hello. Hello, Madam. Please, can you hear me? Can someone hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
Lawrence,
we
I
can
can
hear
hear you.
you.
But I don't
Yes,
think
we
Madam
can.
is on. Or
She
Yeah,
said,
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you very
oh,
much.
okay.
Thank you. Well,
okay, so to begin with, we are defining the School of Economic Thought. Now, when we say the School of Economic Thought or a School of Economic Thought, we look at a group of economists who share broadly common perspective on how to study economic phenomena and the features of economic life and why those lives are most important. But within that, as they are all trying to share common perspective or they are sharing common perspective on economic phenomena, they use different methods. They use or they come into different conclusion. They focus on different models to be used to reach that different conclusion. Now we have so many economic thoughts. Now some of the economic thought we will be able to mention in this presentation includes the mercantilist school of thought, the physiocratic school of thought, the classical school of thought, and the Keynesian school of thought. So when a group of economists come together to share their perspective on an economic phenomenon, and they all reach different conclusions, now we call that economic school of thought. Now, please, let's look at the B. We are looking at the mercantilist school of thought. Out of the school of thought mentioned, we are going to base on the mercantilist school of thought. Now, etymology. Now, the term mercantilist was derived or was coined from the Latin word mercare. And this word means to trade, which is also the root for the English word like merchant and merchandise. Now, this school of thought dominated from the 16th to the 18th centuries. Now, when we say the 16th and the 18th century, we are looking at the 14 something, and then the 15 something. Now, and then it was credited by shaping the foundation of the capitalist system from the mid 15th to mid 18th century. And when we talk of the capitalist system, we are looking at a type of system that is solely controlled by individual firms. Now let's look at the emergence, how it came about. Now the mercantilist school of thought arose after the feudal system became outmoded. Now what is the feudal system? Now back then in the 13th and the 12th century, they were practicing a system called the feudal system. Now this system was in the form of pyramid. And at the top we have the kings. In between the kings we have the nobles. Then below the nobles we have the knights. And then below the knights we have the normal civilians. So the kings will give lands out. The nobles will give lands out. The knights will fight for the nobles and the kings. And then the civilians will be working on the land. If we come to Ghana, this one is practiced in Ghana, but we will not call it the feudal system. In GSA or the Mano, Abeshem, something like that. So that was what they were practicing. Now, when that was outmoded, then the mercantilist school of thought arose. Now, let's look at the shift. Now, it marked a time when the church was no longer the sole source of economic concept like fair prices or wages. Instead, theories promoting profit trade and unlimited wealth gained prominence, increasing the dominance of commercial capital. Now, in the 12th and the 13th century, we had the church, and then the church that we talk of was the Roman Catholic Church. Now, the church was in control of all the economic activities in the 12th and the 13th century. Now, so the Roman Catholic Church was solely the only church that was controlling all the economic activities back then in Europe. Now, out of the Roman Catholic Church was born the English Church, that is the Anglican Church.
Yeah,
So it got to a time.
Mr. Presenter, I don't intend to cut you off, sorry. But if you can put the presentation on a presentation mood, so that it spans to all the sides of the screen. So you
Okay,
see that dot, I don't know, it's more like it has a thin tail. So just move to the tags bar. Move to the tags bar. It's more like a Bible in a Bible form. Yes, yes, yes. Just move down, move to the tags bar, where you can have your comments and all that. Move to the tags bar.
Yes, please, I'm there.
Yes. So just come closer to where you have your comments. The comments as in with the message icon.
Yes, please.
Move to that section. Then move to the next. Move down. It's like move. Yeah. So I'm talking about the icon closer to where you can resize and make the font size very big. Okay, so it's actually called slideshow. Okay, so move down, No, no, no.
Not here.
Are you able to do it? No, it's closer to the place that you can zoom. You see, you have 82%, right? So you
Yes.
can zoom
Okay.
to that. Yeah, it's more like a lamb with a tiny tail, and yeah, and that icon. No, no, no. I'm not talking about this. Closer to that, you can have the next icon before the place that you zoom. The next one, next. Yeah. So this is quite better. Okay. You guys have a wonderful slideshow. Ah, okay.
So
All right.
let's continue.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that
So
was the
let's
shift in
continue.
economic thought. Now historically, let's look at the historical example of the mercantilist, the way of the mercantilist. Now, if you take Ghana to be specific, in the year 1471, the Europeans started coming to Ghana back then, Gold Coast, to trade with us, to have raw materials to feed their local industries. Now, Mr. Ajingo, let's move.
Yeah.
Good. Please, let's go. Now we have wealth and power. So the central belief of the nation's wealth of the mercantilist school of thought was that the wealth and power were best. Please, let's move. So the wealth and power were best described about gold and silver. Now, if we are going to describe a nation very wealthy, then we are looking at the amount of accumulated gold and silver that country won. Now, this mercantilist school of thought was built around some standpoint. Now, let's look at four standpoints that this mercantilist school of thought was built about. Now, point one, we have now bullionism. Now, if you talk about bullionism, we have gold and silver were considered the most desirable form of wealth and the primary measure of national power. This caused the European or the Western European colonial powers from the 16th to the mid 19th century to embark on a hunt for gold and silver. So, like I said, specific example was when the Portuguese came to Ghana in the year 1471, and that because of the gold that they found at the shore in Elmina, they named the place Elmina, means the mine. So Spain also accumulated more gold and silver during the 16th and 17th century due to its vast colonies in America with mines in Peru, Bolivia, Mexico, etc., etc. Now, the next standpoint we talk of is favorable balance of trade. That the nations aim to maximize export and minimize import to ensure a net inflow of precious metals. This was often described as a fear of goods from other nations. In the 16th century, England, France, Spain, Portugal, and the Dutch Republic were among the primary European powers that heavily restricted the import of goods from other countries. So all the mercantilist school of thought was about. Now, like I said, it was to shape the capitalist system. So they tried to minimize import and maximize export out of the fear of competition from other countries when they try to maximize import. So they minimize import and maximize export. Now, the next standpoint we'll talk of is the government intervention. Now, the people, the mercantilists or the local industry pleaded with the government, and then a strong central government was necessary to regulate the economy, grant monopolies, and they grant monopolies to favor companies. Example is the East India Company. Now, this company imposed high tariffs on foreign goods, that is, on imports, and control. I'm getting this, it's not coming. And then they try to control colonial trade. So when the government intervenes, they will just give subsidies on export in order for them to export more goods, and then they will impose high tariffs on import to minimize import. Now, the last point we will talk of is the colonial exploitation of foreign lands. Now, if you look at all these powers or the powerful nations like England, France, Spain, now they all embarked on exploitation. They exploited other foreign lands to feed their local industry. Now, some exploited the foreign lands for gold and silver, since that was the central belief of the mercantilist school of thought, that wealth was all about gold and silver. So the colony served as a source of cheap raw materials for the mother country and as captive market for its finished goods, with trade restricted to ensure the mother country's monopoly. For example, the British sold goods in exchange for gold and other raw materials to their colonies in Africa during the colonial era. And Ghana is a typical example of these colonies in Africa. So these are the four standpoints the mercantilist school of thought was coined around. Mr. Jungle, let's move. Now we will now look at the characteristics of the mercantilist school of thought. Now, the characteristics of the mercantilist school of thought can certainly be grouped into economic, political, and cultural domains, as these aspects were deeply intertwined in the 16th to 18th century when the mercantilism was dominant. Now, let's look at the domains. Mr. Jingo, please, let's go. Good. Now, we look at the economic features or the economic characteristics. Now, the primary economic goal was to maximize a nation's wealth, which was directly identified with the accumulation of precious metals, that's the bullions, such as gold and silver. Now, let's look at how it goes. Now, the first economic characteristics that we talk of is the favorable balance of trade. Now, if you look at the favorable balance of trade, as we've discussed already, or have I explained already, now there was a core policy that we have to maximize export and minimize import. Now, that will ensure that the local industry will flourish with their goods and services. Now, if we should minimize import, it means that they are going to be free from competition of goods from other countries into their country. So there was a fear of goods from other nations. So England, Spain, France, and Dutch were among those countries that restricted on imports of goods from other nations. Now, the next one was the colonial exploitation of foreign lands. As we've said, now these superpower nations, France, Spain, England, Holland. Now, these nations exploited other foreign lands, especially in the America, that is the North America, South America, in Africa. And then in Africa, the typical example we can give is Ghana. Now, they went to foreign lands, exploited their golds, their silvers, their raw materials to feed their industries. And then after that, they will come back with the finished good and sold them to the colonies. So that was how the colonials or the superpower nations exploited the foreign nation to feed their industry and to maximize their wealth. Now, the next one we talk of was the promotion of local industry and commerce. Now, the mercantilist school of thought pleaded with the government to regulate the economy in order to protect and promote the local industry and commerce. Now, this was done through policies. The government regulated policies like imposing high tariffs on import and then giving subsidies on export. Now, with this, the local industry will be able to export more, to have more wealth, and then they will be able to import less to be free from foreign competition or the foreign goods or the foreign market to compete with the local industries. So these are the economic features or the characteristics of the mercantilist school of thought. Now let's look at the political school of thought. Now with the political school of thought, the mercantilist was inherently linked to the rise of strong centralized nation states and was a system where the government and the merchant class worked closely together. So, with this school of thought, the government and then the merchant worked closely together. So, if we are to relate this one to an economic system, we can say, I'm not saying it is, but we can say it looks like a mixed economic system. So, the government and then the merchant worked together. Now, let's look at that. The first one was the state intervention and regulation. Now, the government controlled the economy to protect the merchant, to protect the local industry. Now, how did the government do that? Now, the government did this through the formulation and implementation of policies. What are those policies? Now, the government imposed high tariffs on import and then gave subsidies on export. Now, this enhanced the local industries to export more goods to gain foreign exchange and then to import less goods to be free of foreign competition of goods. Now, this is what we call the fear of foreign goods or the fear of goods. Now, the government ensured that it will power the local industries to export more and then import less through regulations and policies. Now, we have strong military and then the naval power. Now, a powerful military and then the navy were considered essential to protect trade routes and secure colonies. Now, back then in the 16th and then the 15th century, if you are or if you want to be a superpower nation, you have to have a strong base military. Now, this military will safeguard the trade route and then they will ensure and protect those colonies to ensure that the colonies serve only the mother country, like what Ghana and British had. So Ghana was a colony to the British, that is the England. So the England were the sole colonial masters that have access to the raw materials of Ghana. So the Great Britain, they implemented a comprehensive series of legislation act known as the Navigation Act. Now, the act was to protect the trade route and the navigation of other ships, even if those ships were to sell or make sales to their colonies. That was how it was done. So, for you to be able to be a superpower nation or to gain wealth, you have to get a strong base military and naval power. So, these are also the political characteristics of the mercantilist school of thought. Mr. Jingo, please let's move. Now we will look at the cultural characteristics or the cultural features of the mercantilist school of thought. Now, the cultural shift provided a context for mercantilists to flourish, emphasizing the worldliness and the material wealth. Now, the mercantilist school of thought, they justified the colonialism and slavery. Now, how did they justify the colonialism and slavery? Now, they believed that the colonies existed solely for the benefit of the mother country, and then they provide moral and cultural justification for the colonial exploitation and the use of slave labor in the triangular trade. Now, let's take Ghana for example. Now, sometimes you hear people saying, recently there was an issue of trimming of hairs of students in the senior high school. Then people were saying these were the cultures that we are trying to copy, or we copied from the colonial masters. Now, they use some moral values to justify the colonialism. Now, they will tell us, or we will say that if not for the colonial master, we were not exposed to certain things like clothing, like formal education. So they use all these to justify the colonialism and slavery. So they saw colonialism and slavery not to be a bad person, sorry, a bad thing, but it was a thing of exchange. You give us your raw materials, or we take your we trade with you, and then we give you some sort of, we will say, how do you call this? NBA, if anything. Civilization, yes. So they will provide you with something of civilization. They will impose their culture on you, and you will see it to be like, oh, they are just training us with their culture, imposing their culture on us, and with that they can take whatever that they want to take. So they use these cultural characteristics of the mercantilist thought to justify colonialism and slavery. Mr. Ajingo, please, can we move forward?
So I just pasted it on the message chat that it is a group presentation, not an individual presentation.
Okay, so
So
Madam,
I'm just assuming that this is your part that you have to play in the presentation.
all right.
Okay.
Okay, so I
Yeah, so
will.
just allow the others, because it is also based on your individual performances, not just as a group too.
All right.
Yes. So if you are
Okay.
done with yours, then, but if you are not done with yours, then you can continue so that the others too will also contribute to the presentation.
All
Thank you.
right, Madam. So I will allow um, Madam Abba Dixon to take over from the cultural features. Thank you. Abba, hello.
Is she even in the class?
Yes, please. She is in the class.
Good morning, colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Boa, for your presentation. So I'll take it over from where he ended. So, all right, thank you. You are looking at um, the weakness of the mercantilist school of thought. So the mercantilist school of thought, the culture shift provided the context for mercantilism to flourish, emphasizing worldly on material um, goods or wealth. So we look at the zero sum view of trade. So with the with the mercantilists, they operate on the idea that one nation gain is another nation's loss. So this view is characterized for overlooking the benefit of comparative advantages and specialization. which allow multiple nations to prosper through trade. Is as we were saying, they were having a trade that is, they were encouraging more of export and then discouraging more of import by sanctioning tariffs. And yes, they will add so much money on what should be imported. That is so. The Smith argued that the trade can be mutually beneficial, with nations specializing in producing what they do best and then what they are trading for with other goods. So with that, that is of the zero sum of trade. And the last thing being the protectionism and then consumer harm. The mercantilist school of thought often support the protectionist policy, like the tariff on the goods and then um, the monopoly policies. So to protect domestic, they they support the protectionist policy to protect the domestic industries. Um, Critics content that this benefits producers at the expense of consumers, who have to pay higher prices to import goods and may have fewer choices. This creates a system where the interests of the selected group, that's the merchants and the rulers, are prioritized over the overall welfare of the individual, including the consumer. So here we are talking about the consumer, how the thing is going to harm. We are protecting our local industries. How do we protect it? By sanctioning tariffs on the importing goods, and then so that we can protect our domestic industries from competition from other sides. So that is the weaknesses we were able to talk about the mercantilist school of thought. So this is where we will end our presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, people. One, but I just saw the presentation of just two people. I don't know whether the rest of the students will
Madam,
sit
um,
alongside.
madam, can I come
Yes.
in?
So, Lawrence, before you talk, raise up your hand. Have you forgotten the rules of the game? Thank you very much. So I saw Emmanuel's hand first before me, before you.
Yes,
So
I
let's
know.
hear you, Emmanuel.
They are my group members. They are in my
Okay.
yeah. So
I also want to know more light on some of the aspects of it.
Hey, please, we can't hear you. Your voice is really faint.
But I'm saying that I want to also highlight some of the points my colleague initially spoke about.
No, so you should do that whilst the slide is on, or in the time they got to that point, you could have just come in to adjust or say something to it.
madam, my hand is still up.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Please, can I talk?
yeah, Lawrence.
Madam, it was total my fault. Honestly, I forgot that I am supposed to end somewhere for others to continue. So if I had not seen your message by the time I realized I will be done with everything. So we were supposed to do it in a group. From me was Abadexin, and then Yima will come, and then so forth. And so we sat and planned everything together. So it was totally my fault.
All right, all right, that's fine. So do you have any questions for group one? Of course, you have to ask questions.
All right, we await the questions.
Mute yourself, Lawrence. What is that? All right, so I've seen Solomon's hand. Hey, so we have two Solomon. We have us say Solomon and Tay Solomon. So let's listen to Tay Solomon.
Please, madam, my question is I want to know the difference between the standpoints and then the characteristics. Thank you.
He just asked a question. So those that didn't present, Emmanuel, Shere, and the others that didn't present, you can use this as an opportunity to redeem yourselves.
Thank you, madam. When we talk of the standpoint, I think we are talking about the select, the things that mechanics were basing their arguments on, and then the characteristics are the features when they were trading what were they
Emmanuel, trust me. Like I don't know whether you're so far from your phone or your laptop. Like your voice is really far. It's really far, and I'm sure those that will later listen to this recording might not even hear exactly what you said. So just come a bit closer and just speak a bit louder so that we can hear what you say.
Thank you, madam. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yeah, it's quite better, but try as much as possible and come a bit closer and speak louder.
I was saying that when we talk of the standpoint, it was like what they were basing their objectives on, their pillars that they were basing the trade with their colony. And then the characteristics were the features that the economic, the political, and the cultural, the features, how they were going about their activities. Thank
Who else? Who else? Who
Madam,
else?
hello.
Yeah, yeah. Obi, yes,
Hey,
yes. I've seen your hand. I've seen your
yeah,
hand.
yeah.
Please talk.
As my brother said, the standpoint, I would like to
He's
throw
not your
add
brother,
something.
please. He's
Hey,
not your brother.
my learned
All
colleague.
right. Thank you.
Sorry, but as my learned colleague said, the standpoint is a person's view or opinion or a perspective about something. So how they saw everything, how they viewed, or it focuses on someone, how someone sees or understand a situation or a view. That's a standpoint. And also the characteristics are the qualities, features, or traits that describe a person. So how you see it will describe how you are, how you view an opinion will describe how you're going to approach or the method you're going to use to approach that situation or something. So I think the standpoint will determine your characteristics. So I think they go hand in hand here. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. So have they answered your question, Solomon?
Yes, please.
If they haven't, say they haven't. Don't
Oh,
force and say they have.
Madam, we
I'm okay, madam.
have our body.
All right, all right. So okay, so I've seen me of first hand. I don't know whether it's answering or a question.
Yes, please. I wanted to throw more light on the answer my learning colleague gave with regards to the standpoint and the features of mercantilist. A typical example with the standpoint of the mercantilist has to do with the fact that their focus was on national wealth. So that is their standpoint. Now, how did they go about it? One, they went through trade surplus. So that becomes a feature they also did the protectionism. So their standpoint is their main belief. Now, how do they go about to achieve that belief? Then that becomes the feature. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. For your input. Yeah, so basically, what they are saying, just they are right. As soon as you say standpoint, it's just saying your view, your opinion, your direction that you have taken, or meaning like your stand that you have taken about an issue. Okay, your main ideas, what you believe in. Okay, that's just about the standpoint, and their characteristics are just their features. So basically, the standpoint somehow, some way determines their features. They go hand in hand. You can't have a different standpoint and a different feature. So both of them go hand in hand. So let's listen to us, Osai Solomon. I think he has a question.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I want a clarification in their first slide, the slide. Ready?
So move to slide one.
Yes.
Slide one.
Yes.
Okay, share your first slide and let Max his question.
Yes. And then
Group one, share your first slide.
Mr. Jim,
You can ask your question.
yeah, I saw something in the line, emergence, the emergence after the where we have feeder. Is the word federal system or feeder?
So please, group one, share your slide right now so that we can all see what he's trying to pinpoint.
And also with the word bullionism, 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 bullionism. Is there any synonymous word to, I mean, replace that word to my understanding because that word is is big to me.
Group one, please share your slide. All right, that's good. Yeah, so you said your first slide, so I'm sure it's not your course outline. The first one. Okay, so please pinpoint the place that you don't, the word that you were talking about, so that they
Yes,
can
yes.
give more clarity.
Where we have the emergence. Yes, go forward one slide. Bring the next one, please. Yes. So where we have the emergence, is the word there Frida or Fidra? Go back, please. Yes. So we have feeder system. Is it Fidra or feeder?
it is feeder.
So there is no R. Okay.
No, there is no R.
Okay. 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 And then the word bullionism. Bullionism.
What
Is
is
there
the
any?
meaning of figure? Like, what does it
Yes,
mean?
because I'm confusing that word with federal system of government. Because here we have they brought FUDA.
Yeah. So please explain to us what the word means. Then we can move on to
Now,
the group.
madam, the feeder system was a hierarchical, political, and economic structure in Europe that linked landowners with military and labor obligation.
Is
Like I
that
said,
FUDRA? Have
please, it is what you see. Like
FUDRC?
it's a
Is that
feeder system.
okay? Okay. Okay. Okay.
So we have feudalism. We don't
Okay.
have feudalism, it's feudalism. So feudal, okay, feudal system.
Okay. Okay.
And it was a system of hierarchical political and economic structure. It looks like a pyramid where we have the kings at the top, the nobles beneath the kings, then we have the landowners or the knights, and then below we have the civilians. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Then the word billionism.
Okay. I want to take that one, the bullionism.
Yes.
When we talk of bullionism, it's a word that simply means gold standard. Yeah. So where a system where countries' currency is directly linked to with gold, accumulation of what is, I would say, directly linked with that of a mercantilism. When an economy or a country's wealth is directly linked with what gold and silver, and we use the word bullionism.
Okay.
So gold standard, that's another word for it. Gold standard
Okay. And then
or
the last.
mechanism.
Okay. And the last one, weaknesses of the mercantilist. That's the zero sum view of trade. What is zero sum? What is zero sum?
So okay, the zero sum view of trade.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Lawrence, please don't answer this question. Allow those that didn't present to answer questions. Allow those that didn't present to answer questions. Niofe, I think you answered the question right, bro. You did right.
Madam,
Yeah.
but I would like to try and
All
answer
right.
this
Sure.
one. So the zero sum view of trade simply is a system where it's like you either win everything or you lose everything. Technically, that is what it tries to say. So it is either a country comes and then takes everything you have, or you lose everything you have. So that is technically what the zero sum view of trade is trying to do. So everything, if I'm your superior or I'm your colonial master, whatever I do, whatever I say, whatever I produce is right. You need to buy it, right? So if you are I've colonized you, then nothing you say matters. So your resources becomes technically zero. You don't have any resource because everything then becomes mine. Please,
All
are
right.
we clear on that?
Yes, please. Yes.
Are you sure about that? Affair.
Madam, that is the slight definition I could give with regards to what
All
he
right.
asked.
All
Yeah.
right. So let's hear from mother. I've seen Prince hand. We
Um,
to Abba.
Hello.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. I wanted to just say what my little colleague just said, that with a zero sum game where if someone wins, the other one loses. So if at the end of the day the net inflow is 100, one will take the 100 and then one is getting what, a zero. Not in a sense where you get part and I get part. No, the zero sum game is either I win everything or I lose everything. So in the mercantilist view, one or the mercantilists are hoping to win everything, then the colonies will what? Lose everything. That's the zero sum game.
Okay, so before we come to Abba, so I have a question. So what if the mercantilist wins some and leaves some? Is that also a zero sum game?
I would say no.
I think that one will be break even.
Yes, yes. Yeah. It's either we break even or I get some and then you get some. Then the zero sum will be like win, lose.
Are you sure about it?
Wow.
Are you very sure about
From
Hello.
the little research that we have done, I think for me, I'm very sure.
it? Oh, boy. All right, so let's listen to Abba before. I'm sure she might want to say something.
Okay, so I wanted to talk on the zero sum. Yeah, so it is like whatever it's gained by one side, another person loses. So if Ghana is to trade in like if we should practice the mercantilist school, we'll go to maybe Cote d'Ivoire, then we go and then get their silvers and gold. Probably they are going to lose. That is the zero sum. So one side gaining and the other side losing. That was what I wanted to add up to what my learned colleagues were saying.
Yeah, so then I coming to ask my question is that so you guys are creating the scenario that if someone gains and the other loses, what if the mechanic.
Hello, please, can you hear me?
Niska.
Yes, we
Yeah, but
can
we can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Madam,
Okay,
Madam
so
has
with what
Madam has noticed.
you said,
Yeah,
so
so
with
I answer my question. Group one.
okay, so madam, please, my network went off and I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Okay, so you group one, you are trying to tell us that if a mercantile country wins all, then the other country will lose everything. Then I'm asking, so what if this mercantile country gains some and leaves some for the other countries? That one also makes it a zero sum game.
With me, I would say yes because as you are getting the number of the golds and then the silver they had, it will reduce. So still they are losing.
Hmm. Are you sure about it, Abba? Since I've seen a number of hands, I think a group one people want to flood the class by raising up there. I've seen Lawrence and Emmanuel and Neofe. So let's start from Emmanuel, then we come to Lawrence and we come to Faith.
Thank you, madam. For this zero sum, I think that zero is zero. If you are sharing 10 items, and I take two people are sharing 10 items, and one takes all the 10, the other will get zero. So if two countries, they are trading in gold and silver, and the master country, which is the European countries, they will take all the gold and silver, and then the colonized country will get zero in returns. That is what we are talking about. So zero is zero, not a division. Either you get one, and then the person will get another figure. It is zero, and then the other
Yeah,
country will take
so
the.
so I'm asking. So if just as you are saying, so if that country gets takes away five and leaves five for them, does that also makes it a zero sum game or not? If not, what other term I will give to that?
Okay, then if they share the booty, like the gold and silver, they share, then we are it's another term of trade, not what we are talking about. For that one, I don't know, please, madam.
You have to know. You have to know. Emmanuel, you really have to know because it was your target. So now let's come to Lawrence. Then we come to Ope.
Okay, madam. Now with the zero sum zero, as you are saying, madam, should I answer your question now?
Ah.
No, there was two
Why I
questions.
say whether you have to answer my question, Lawrence?
Okay, now let me answer your question. You asked if they took five or they take five and leave five. Is it still a zero sum view of trade?
No, like I'm trying to create a scenario that what if the country does not take all, okay, but take some and leave some. Does that one also qualifies it to be a zero sum game?
Yes, it qualifies to be a zero sum game. Now, with the zero sum game, according to the mercantilists, operated on the idea that one nation's gain is another nation's loss. Now, let me break it down to answer the question. Now, it's like we are trading, but the trading that we are trading, that trade is not going to add anything to my resources, but rather it will take something from my resources. And if I trade or if I do anything and nothing is being added up to whatever that I have, which means I had zero. So that brought the name the zero sum. Nothing was added to the resources of the colonies. It's not about taking everything they have. We can't take everything that we have. If you look at Ghana, the British were here, the Portuguese were here, yet we still have some mineral resources in the country. But when they came to take those things, did they give us anything? Anything in exchange that could be replaced or that has the same value of what they took? The answer was no, or the answer is no. Now that means that the kind of trade that we have, hello, hello.
We are listening, learned colleague.
Okay. So that means that the kind of trade that Ghana had with the British during the 15th century or the Portuguese during the 15th century was a zero sum to our resources. So we gained nothing. We gained nothing from the so we gained nothing from the trade, and that made the trade a zero sum view of trade. So nothing was added to the resources of Ghana, but the British or the Portuguese had more. They gained more at the expense of Ghana. That is why we have zero sum trade view or view of trade. Thank you. Hello. Hello.
On point, senior.
Madam.
But I think you didn't answer the question madam was asking.
I answered the question.
I don't.
I answered. I started with
The
the answer.
question
I
he
don't
was
think
saying,
Madam
she
is.
was saying,
Hey, please, I'm
she was
here.
saying,
Oh,
she
okay.
was saying,
Sorry.
if what about that both countries shared it together, like if it is 10-5-5, if it happened
No.
like that, what's the name given to that situation?
Nah, she asked, is that type of trade qualified to be called a zero sum view of trade? And I said yes. I answered. And then I gave explanation why it is or it could still be called a zero sum trade.
Why they
So
are sharing it equal?
now you can't share something equal, something that I possess, and you come to share with me. You are saying you are giving me first choice.
Yes,
No,
it can happen if there's
no,
a
you can't
decision
have.
that it, but
Now,
there's this
Mr.
zero
Ebenezer,
sum.
please listen. If you have, let's say, if you have 10 cities right now on you, I come to you and said I want to trade with you. Bring your 10 cities. Let's divide it. Let's share it into 5 cities equal. I take the 5 cities. You take the 5 cities. Please, did you get anything in addition to your 10 cities, Mr. Ebenezer?
Hello, yes, sir.
Yes, you have 10 cities. I come to you. We share the 10 cities equally. I take 5, you take 5. And I'm asking you, after the sharing, after the trading, did you get anything in addition to your 10 cities?
No, I have gotten 5.
Good. Now, initially you had 10, right?
Yes.
And initially I had 0. But now I have gotten 5 and you are having 5. And that 5 belonged to you, not me. So I have gained 5 cities and you have
I,
lost 5 cities.
I have lost 5. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
So it doesn't matter.
So
I have to
I've
take all
lost
the 10
some,
cities.
which
Yes.
means I've
So
lost some,
nothing,
but not all.
yes. So nothing was added to what you had initially. So there was
Okay.
0 sum. Nothing was added.
Okay. 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 I was thinking win-win game. I now understand it.
Please, do we have any questions? Any more questions?
Are we okay now? So I've seen another hand point something.
Sorry. I think I wanted to answer a question, then it has been answered
Okay.
already.
So I've seen someone's hand.
Okay, thank you, madam and everyone. Mr. Lawrence, I'm okay with all that you are saying, but you just made mention of some 10 cities whereby it will be shared or whatever. And my point is, what if you don't have the capability or the abilities to trade? So I am having 0, so you have rather invited me. We've gone on agreement that after everything, you will be sharing whatever you will be getting later. So what about that? In that manner, I think I deserve an equal an equal share with you, or because you don't have the abilities to do such trade, but I have. So you have invited me, and we are working on. At the end, we share everything equally. What about that, please?
Please, whatever that we are discussing is a scenario we are trying to create. There was nothing like an agreement between anyone.
Okay.
When the British and when the Europeans came to Ghana, they never had any agreement on the kind of trade that they were coming to have with us. Now, back in our primary school, we had this history. They said that we were giving us tin food or canned food, and then we were giving them gold. Now, if you look at the value of canned food and the value of gold, now they are quite different. In fact, vast different. So that you can't compare the canned food to the value of gold. But I just use the 10 cities as a scenario to make you understand that you, as a colony, you have 10 cities. I, being the superpower nation, I needed 5 cities to go and feed my local industry. So I will come, and since I've captured you, you don't have any say in the sharing of or taking away of your raw materials. If not that, I think Ghana will be having more gold reserve than that of the British. But because we had no say, they took whatever that they want to take. So they will come, share, trade with you, take those things, and then after that, nothing will be added to whatever that you had initially. So that's where the idea of 0 sum. Nothing will be added to what you had, but rather I will gain and you will lose. I will take something from you, and that will be my gain, and that will be your loss. Please, that was just a scenario.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm okay now. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you very much, group one. Do we have any more questions for them?
No,
So
no question.
just as they said with the 0 sum game, um a main emphasis here is not about taking everything or not. But so far as a country gets something at the expense of the other country, they are losing. Okay, so that is the main emphasis. Do we have any more questions for them? Group one. Yeah, so this is more like a scholarly discussion. Okay, so don't feel that oh this person is asking me questions because he or she doesn't like me. No, it is something that usually happens in an academic environment. Please hold on, Youngson. Academic environment. Okay, so you should all ask yourself questions in order to clarify and make the discussion very interactive. Okay, so let's hear from Ebenezer. Ebenezer, we are waiting for you.
Hello, madam. Uh, please, I said I've come across this word and I want some explanation. Positive sum game as opposed to zero sum game.
Yeah, group one. Toby, if you want to
Yeah,
answer the question, please
yes.
you can go ahead.
Madam, with that of the positive sum game, you see, as we said, the zero sum game, that is where one benefit at the expense of the other. But with the positive sum game, at the end of the day, or the trade, we are all benefiting something. One will not lose to the other. We are all benefiting something at the end of the day. That's a positive sum game.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so if we don't have any more questions for group one, so I heard from Lawrence, Lawrence, uh, Neofe, Abba, um, and Obin Prince. These were the people and in group one, right? Ebenezer was also part of group one, right?
Please,
Ebenezer Chere.
okay, okay.
Yeah, Ebenezer Chere is also part of one. Yeah, so we had Lawrence, Abba, me, then Ebenezer Chere, and we had Prince Obin from group one. So thank you very much to you all. Congratulations for um finishing with your presentation. All right, now let's come to group three. Group three, let's hear from you. Ebenezer, your hands are raised.
Please, madam. Now, I think we are going to group two. That's why. Sorry.
Ebenezer, I wasn't
Hello,
able to.
madam.
Yeah, please speak here. I wasn't able to get your question.
No, please, madam. I don't have question now. I thought we are going to group two, so I thought it's
No,
my.
no,
Oh, okay.
we are going to group three. The Manotre, your hand is raised.
Madam, please, I'm also part of the group one, but you didn't mention my name. That's why I'm
Oh, I mentioned your
please.
name. I mentioned your name,
Uh,
Emmanuel. Sure.
okay, thank you.
Thank you very much to Emmanuel. Yeah, so let's start with group three.
still mute. Yeah, hello.
We can hear you,
Yeah,
Henry. Emmanuel, please
yeah.
mute yourself. Emmanuel, try mute yourself.
Please, we didn't put it in the slide form, but in the PDF form. So presenting it to the public will be very difficult. If you can give us some 30 minutes to pile it up in the slide form, it will be very good. 5 minutes or 5 minutes.
Henry, are you asking
Um,
us all to put our class on hold for 5 solid minutes just for you to put your slide together?
yeah, we mistakenly did it in the PDF form, which
No, I told you guys last week to put it in a presentation slide and also send me the answers or your word format in my email. So we're from this new discussion right now. I don't know
yeah,
anything about it. You should have pre-informed me the time you saw group one presenting in slides or something.
yeah, we thought we'll go to group two before group two and
You
group
thought,
one finish.
no, please. We
Mm,
don't do
Mommy,
that here. We
okay,
don't do that here. I've seen
okay.
your hands, Samuel.
Madam, please, he raised such concern in the group while the lesson, while the presentation was ongoing. So let me try and see whether I also have the work that we did. Let me try and see whether I can use my phone instead for the presentation.
So I'm just saying, he's saying that I just want you to share your slide, but not the
Oh,
word format, so that it can be very easy for us to go through. Because apart from the course, you should also learn how to make presentation slides and learn how to present using that and all that. So it's all part of a learning process for us. And I told you last week that we can even start from group four and later come back to group one and come back to group three, then come back to group two. I didn't say that we start in an orderly form, right? Yes, so that's why we started with group one and now we are coming to group three. So we should be prepared at all times and not think that yes, we start with from group one and come to group two or something. So you can share your slide. If you have the slide, you can share it.
okay, okay, madam. Okay. Oh God,
Hey, Mr. Samuel, what has
madam, please.
God what has God done?
Oh,
The way
sorry.
I say, oh God, like I'm scared. Oh, what has
Oh,
God done
madam,
like
calm down
that?
for me.
Oh, I'm calm, Samuel. Yeah, I've seen your hand, Francis.
Okay,
Yeah.
madam, please. I was saying if they are finding it difficult to present, they should send me the work so that I do the presentation for them.
Exactly. So he has a laptop, right?
Uh-huh.
So if you are unable to share your slide, not the word format, you can share the slide with Francis Akwesi Ajimai so that he can share the slide for you as you do your presentation.
Okay, okay, okay.
So all other groups, group two, three, and four, if you have any issues or you think you will encounter any issues with share your slide, share the slide, not the word format. Share the slide to Francis and let him assist you to share the slide whilst you are doing the presentation. Okay. So as we for group three for them to share their slide, I want us to go through with Ebenezer, you have your hand raised.
Oh, please, madam, I said like group two, our slides are ready.
Yes.
Go through.
So can we start
Yeah,
with
Ebenezer.
Yes, madam. Please, madam, I said group two, our slides are ready.
Hey, Ebenezer. Okay, I hear.
Yes,
Okay,
madam.
you guys will present very soon. Okay.
Madam, please, I've already
Madam,
sent the slides to.
madam,
Mm.
please, madam,
Yeah,
please,
Ebenezer.
please, the reason why I am rushing is I told my group members that I have a Thanksgiving service. We just did my father's funeral this weekend, and I was supposed to be fast. So I was thinking I joined earlier this morning that maybe it will reach our turn. That's why I said that. So it'll be like the church service is about to start, and that's why I said that, please.
Uh, are you guys ready? Group three.
Yes, yes, madam. We've sent the slides to Ajman.
Francis.
Madam, please, I'm now opening the
Share the
slide.
slide for them. Yeah, share.
It's in the word form. Word form.
Is in a word.
So yes, please.
No, it's not supposed to be in a word form. So you guys should adjust yourself. Then let's come to group two. So the presentation should be in a slide form. How many times do you want me to say this? All right.
Madam, please,
So
the group leader has the slides. The group leader has this, the one I sent through email.
so just ask him to share the slide with Francis. All
Okay,
right. So
okay.
let's come to group two. As soon as group two is done, I want to listen to any more excuses, and this will really get me bored. I'm actually in a very good mood that today. So please don't spoil things for us, okay? Please don't spoil things
Okay,
for us.
okay.
All right, thank you very much, Samuel. All right, so let's hear from group two.
Okay, madam. So my brother Ajimbo will display our presentation for us to start.
He's not your brother, okay? Amos, is he the firstborn, or you are the second
Hey.
born, or is the third born?
Oh,
Which
as
one is it?
as for boys, boys good.
No, so like this one is the boys
Okay, my
class.
my my, my learned colleague Ajimbo will do that for us. Thank you.
Please,
Thank
what's
you
the difference?
very much.
Please, I'm coming. I'm now sharing it.
Oh, okay, okay.
The delays.
The network needs me.
Let's take it here.
Junior, what young for the only was 1 minute.
Eh? Eh?
No, it's yeah.
Share this.
Food,
I'm
food,
coming,
Please,
please. I'm coming.
please, you guys shouldn't do that, okay? You guys
Oh,
shouldn't
madam,
do that
please,
right now.
it's my network. My network is frustrating me. I don't even.
Yeah, so don't use any informal languages or insults here. I don't like that. I don't condone that here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, the network. Why? Sharing of screen.
Please, has it come?
Yes,
Has it come?
it's gone. Your laptop screen is on. And open the slide.
We can
Has it
see
come?
your University of Cape
Yes.
Coast Nature of Economics group presentation, group 2. So we want you to put it in a presentation or in a slide mode, just as the one you did for the first.
Please, has it come?
Then we can start.
Yes, you see the
Yes,
first
yes,
page.
we can see it, Francis. We can see it.
Okay, so my sister starts.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Anita here. We group 2 are presenting their assignment, and we are 7 in number. The group leader is Bismarck Sapon, and the secretary is Francis Ajimai. Our questions were: we were to define the physiocratic school. Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
me?
Continue. Yes, please continue.
We are to define the physiocratic school and explain 4 standpoints of this school. Also, we are to explain 6 characteristics and 5 weaknesses of the school of thought. Again, we are to explain 4 differences between the physiocratic and mercantilist school of thought. To begin with the definition of the physiocratic school, the physiocratic school was an economic theory developed in the 18th century French economic led by Francois Quesnay. And this school emphasized that agriculture is the only true source of national wealth because it produces a net surplus. That is, agriculture was solely derived from, the nation's wealth was solely derived from the value of agriculture, which they stood on. Agriculture produce excess production, which can bring more wealth to the nation. And so depending on the manufacturing and trade merely transform and exchange wealth, but do not create it as the agriculture created. Their also guidance principle was laissez-faire, which means minimal government interference, which the government should allow free market where the farmers will give price to their own products and not imposing other taxes into their production where it will not allow free flow of transaction. So this is a definition from the Socratic school of thought. My brother will also continue to the standpoint. Thank you.
So the standpoint of the Socratic school of thought. The first one is the agriculture as the source of wealth. Socratic, Socratic believed that the real wealth comes from nature, especially through agriculture. They taught that farming, fishing, and forestry create surplus, meaning they produce more than what people consume. This surplus becomes the foundation of a nation's wealth. Factories and trade only move or transform goods, but they do not create new wealth. Only the land, through farming and natural growth, produce something new that didn't exist before. So, example, in Ghana or Cote d'Ivoire, cocoa farming earns a large part of national income through exports. This shows how agriculture can sustain a country's economy and provide jobs, income, and foreign exchange. Another standpoint is principles of laissez-faire, that is the free market. The Physiocratic believe that the government should not interfere too much in the economy. Instead, individuals and business should be free to make their own economic decision, like setting prices, or producing the economic naturally organize itself efficiently. Example, Kenya allow farmers to set their own prices based on demand and supply instead of government control. That's the laissez-faire approach, and it reflects on the freedom of the key belief of the physiocratic. Another standpoint also the natural order. Physiocratic believe that the economic work according to natural laws, similarly to the law of nature, like gravity. These natural laws include supply and demand, price changes, and market adjustments. The government should not interfere because these laws naturally keep the economic balance. So if there is a bad harvest, the price of the crops will rise because supply is low. That's natural. If there is a good harvest, the price will fall. That's the natural market forces and prices will cause the problem. So example, when the price of maize in the market rises after a poor harvest, it is the natural order working. If the government step in to control the prices, it may cause shortage or waste. And the last point, that the single tax, the official track suggests that only landowners should pay tax because land is the main source of all wealth. They argue that other taxes like on goods, wages, or trade are unfair because they punish productivities. Taxing land is fair since wealth ultimately comes from it. So instead of taxing everyone like workers and traders, the government should collect one simple tax from landowners who benefit from agricultural wealth. So, example, in Ethiopia or France, decide to tax landowners based on the land they own instead of taxing people's salary or small business. That will match physiocratic thinking. So, these are the standpoints of the physiocratic school of thought that talk about the natural order, the single task, the agriculture as their source, and the principles of laissez-faire. So my brother will continue, my learned colleague will continue with the characteristics in each weakness. Thank you.
Okay, I am a champion Ogoni Prince with the index number SW slash BS slash BR slash 31 slash 25 slash 008. And I am
Prince, please mature your voice, okay?
okay,
Speak
madam. Okay,
louder. Speak
okay,
louder.
okay. I am to continue the presentation from the characteristics of physiocratic school of thought. And the first
We still
feature.
can't hear you, Prince.
Hello.
Speak louder, okay?
Hello, please can you hear me?
It's okay now. So speak
Yes.
with this pace.
Okay, okay, madam. I'm continuing the presentation with the characteristics of physiocratic school of thought. And the first feature is agriculture as the main source of income. Under the physiocratic school of thought, we consider agriculture as our main source of income because the industries just add value to what agriculture has produced, in a sense that agriculture produce something like cocoa, cashew, sugarcane, and others. So use this product to feed the industries so that they add value to what has been already produced. So without the product of agriculture, there will be nothing for the industries to add value or to manufacture. So the industry like sugarcane or sugar industry produces its products from the raw material of sugarcane. Likewise, chocolates are also being produced from cocoa. So it is the agriculture which produces the first wealth of the system before the industries add something to it. And the second feature is laissez-faire principle. This system of thought or school of thought believe government should not interfere in economic activities, that the market should operate freely. Yeah, since we have already been known that it is the agriculture which is the main source of wealth, the product of the agriculture should be priced by the producers rather not the consumers. So if the producers are allowed to give price to their product, I'm very sure that they will produce more, since the price of the product it is going to be determined by themselves. So the government should stand aside for the farmers to determine the price of their products. And the next, and for example, Kenya practice this type of system. This is where they realize agriculture markets allow farmers to decide prices of their products and increase what output, because the farmer is much aware that at the end of the day I will never run at loss because I am to determine the price of my products. And the next feature is natural order. They believe the economy follows natural laws such as supply and demand that ensures balance. Yeah, as the law of demand says, the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded, all other things being equal. And the law of supply says, the higher the price, the higher the quantity supply. And the lower the price, the lower the quantity supply, other things being equal. So if we allow this natural law to operate in the system, it will help the agriculture or the farmers to produce more. And for example, after a poor harvest, price rise naturally, signal farmers to plant more in the next season. Yes, since, let me say, this year, cocoa or cashew didn't do well in its season and the price increased just because the farmers or the producers were to determine their price and the product itself didn't do well. They would definitely try as much as possible to produce much in the upcoming season. Likewise, if the product is in abundance, definitely the price will drop. So in the next season, the farmer or the producer will think critically to produce less in order not to run at loss. So I will end here for my learner colleague to continue with the rest of the features of physiocratic school of thought. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Francis Akosia Ajimai, and I'm taking the point 4. So the point 4 said emphasis on property rights. They believe that landowners should have secure ownership of their land because this encourages them to produce more and invest in agriculture. So with the physiocrats, their belief was that those that they own land, those that they are having access to land, they should have a secure right of it, a secure ownership, so that no third party would be involved in their land. So in terms of the farmers, their land that they use to farm, they should have property rights in a sense that they should own the land by themselves and they should have a documentation about it, signalizing that the land belongs to them so that no other person will involve themselves in it, no other third party will come into it. So the physiocrats, as they said, they believe that the landowners, they should be the ownership of their own land. For example, if a family owns a cocoa farm, if the family, a family like Group 2 family, if we own a cocoa farm and we have a property right, a document that is covering that land, we are able to invest in that land. We are able to plant more crops. We are able to apply and use the right chemicals because we think that after harvesting, there wouldn't be any third party coming to fight with us. So the fiscal part believe that the farmers, they should own the land and they should have a property right so that they will be able to work harder and to increase their crops and to increase their output of work. Another example is that a farmer who owns his land is more likely to invest in the fertilizer and irrigation than one who might lose it. So someone who is having a land and that person is not having any property right about it, that person might lose the land. But if a farmer is having a land and having everything, every document about it, the farmer work hard and also increase his output. So if all other things being equal, those who own a land, a farm, should have or be given a property right. That is what the physiocrats they do believe. And the next point, opposition to mercantilism. With the physiocrats, they oppose the mercantilists simply because they thought that the mercantilist school of thought was saying that the government should have control over everything. But with them, that wasn't their belief. So they stood to oppose, they stood to reject the idea of the mercantilist school of thought. So physiocrats rejected the idea that wealth comes from accumulating gold or trade surplus. Raw wealth comes from production. So their belief was that raw wealth comes from production and not gold and the rest. So they stood to oppose the idea of the mercantilist school of thought. A country, for example, a country like Ghana becomes rich by producing cocoa. That is why the government pay attention to the cocoa farmers and has even increased the price of cocoa because real wealth comes from agricultural production and not keeping foreign currency. Yes, that is why the physiocrats they oppose the mercantilist school of thought. So in Ghana, as we all know, the government increased the price of cocoa because the government knew that the wealth of the country is in the hands of the agricultural sector and not any other industries. So for them, they opposes the idea of the mercantilist school of thought. So another example said, instead of holding foreign currency, modern economics like Nigeria focus on oil and agriculture production. So when you move to Nigeria, their focus is on the oil and agriculture production because they think that for the country to develop, the government shouldn't have total control over them, but the government should pay much attention on agriculture sector. So that is what the Nigerians they do believe. Then they keep foreign currency. Then the next one, advocacy for single tax on land. They proposed taxing only landowners since land generates all wealth. So the physiocrats, they believe that in terms of taxation, since the wealth of the country depend on the agricultural sector, they should be taxed. So therefore, they should have a single tax for the agriculture sector and not an income tax, trade tax, business tax, and the rest. So they believe that the agriculture sector or the landowners, those that they have lands, those that they own farm and the rest, those that they use land to produce their wealth, they should have a single payment of tax. That is what they do believe. So for example, the cocoa farmers, as we all know them to be called the cocoa crackers, because they have much money, because the land is fetching them enough money, because the land is fetching them a lot of wealth, they should be taxed. And with their taxation, there should be a single tax on it so that the cocoa cratchers will pay because the land that they are using to plant their cocoa is harvesting or is generating a lot of income to them. So the physiocrats, they believe in single tax on land. And not only them, we talk of those that they have built a house. The landlord with many houses pay land tax because the house sits on the land that generates income. So the landlords, the landladies that they have built their house, the house itself is sitting on the land, and that house is generating them income. So they need to be a single tax on the land for the landlords and the landowners should pay. So another example said a land tax system like France one use aliens with physiocrat thinking by taxing wealth from land. So they need to be a tax on land. So the physiocrats, they believe that the true wealth of a country comes from the land that country sits on. So anyone who owns the land, there should be a single payment of tax. So my brother will continue from the weakness of the physiocrats school of thought.
All right. Thank you, my learned colleague. I'm Ter Solomon with index number. All right. So I'm Ter Solomon with index number SW/BS/AS/31/25/0028, and I'm looking at the weaknesses of physiocratic school. All right. So despite the influence of physiocratic school, it also has limitations, and the limitations are what I'm going to discuss or elaborate on right now. So firstly, overemphasis on agriculture. They ignored the contribution of industry, commerce, and services to national wealth. So the physiocrats believe that these sectors only transform existing materials and did not generate new wealth, which they thought only agriculture could do due to the bounty of nature. Therefore, this idea limited their operations. So, for example, in modern Japan, manufacturing and technology creates more wealth than farming. So, in this sense, it became known to people that without agriculture, they can invest in other sector to generate a lot of fund. Secondly, neglect of industrial developments. So the school failed to recognize the role of manufacturing and innovation in economic. This idea
Thank you,
was,
my brother.
please, can I move on?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, we are listening.
All
Yes,
right.
we can.
So this idea was proved wrong in the year
Yes, we
1760.
can. We can.
Hello?
We are listening.
Okay. So this idea was proved wrong in the year 1760 in the 18th century by British Industrial Revolution. So while the physiocrats were advocating for French agriculture, Britain was generating immense wealth through textile mills, coal mines, and global trade networks. Also, South Korea's industrialization shows how manufacturing can transform a poor agrarian economy into a rich one. So looking at this, it limits the application or the function of the school of thought, this school of thought, I mean the physiocrat school of thought, and it became one of their weaknesses. Please roll on for me. Good. So thirdly, unrealistic single tax proposal. Relying solely on land tax was impractical for complex modern economies. Apparently, a single source of a nation's fund cannot sustain its economy, but the physiocrats propose abolishing all existing complex taxes, including taxes on goods, internal tariffs, and the likes, and replace them with direct tax levied on land, which limited their thoughts. So, for example, governments like those in UK and USA collect taxes from multiple sources to fund services effectively. So this clearly shows that even those countries that have developed or that are developed, they generate funds from multiple sources. So if a country relies solely on only one source of fund or income, then it means their economy will be in danger. So this idea also limited the application or the functions of the physiocrats school of thoughts. The fourth one I would like to talk about is ignoring non-agricultural productivity. So they underestimated the wealth generated by trade, transport, and services. So they devalue or they didn't observe or see the impact that trading, transport, and other services can have on their economy. So they just look down upon all those sectors, neglecting their impact that they can make. Or in other words, I may say they couldn't identify the value of those sectors that they can also help to grow economy of a particular country. So for example, please, for example, the rise of e-commerce in countries like the USA proves wealth creation isn't limited to agriculture. So electronic transactions that were established in US also made it known to everyone that wealth creation isn't limited to agriculture, but we can also concentrate on other sectors to generate fund that will help grow the economy of a particular country. Please roll on for me. All right, so the last point I would like to talk about is limited application to non-agrarian societies. Their ideas work better for rural farming nations and fail in urban or industrial societies. So in a society, community, or a country that focus much on agriculture on agric or the agric sector, or a society or country that has fertile land almost shift their attention on agriculture because they think they have the land that they can use to produce any kind of crops that they want. So this school of thought work in those areas better than the countries or cities or societies that do not have the fertile land to produce all those crops. And as we all know, even in Ghana here, those in Accra, they are not farming much. When I say farming, I'm not talking about the fishing. I'm talking about crop farming. They are not farming much because the land over there, it does not support crop farming. So in Accra, you may see that a lot of industries, factories has been built over there. So in Accra, they don't participate much in farm. But when you go to our rural areas and some towns like those in the western region, the BAs, you could see that because they have the land, they have the fertile land, most of them or most of the people living over there are engaged in crop farming. For example, physiocrats idea would not fit urban economies like Singapore. When you go to Singapore, they don't engage in large scale farming, but yet still they thrive without large scale farming. So this means that without agriculture, not that the country is abolishing agriculture as a whole, but without focusing much or putting all their attention on agriculture, they can also invest in other sectors to generate funds to help grow their economy. So on this note, I would like to end the witnesses here and then leave the rest for my learned colleague to continue.
Thank you, my brother.
This is Kate.
I'm
Kate.
Mr. Youngster. I'm taking it from, I'm going to
Where
discuss
we
this question. And the question is, explain four differences between the physiocratic and my mercantilist school of thought. So the four differences, we're going to place it under this angle or point. The first is source of wealth. The physiocrat believed that the land was the only source of wealth for all nations. So for a nation to accumulate wealth, that nation must focus on agriculture. Now, on the other hand, that's the mercantilists also believe that money is a source of wealth for all nations. Therefore, for a nation to acquire wealth, it must place their emphasis on trading and accumulation of gold and silver. On the second point, that is the rule of government. Under the rule of government, the physiocrat advocated for a laissez-faire policy, and the laissez-faire policy advocated that the government must intervene in the economy with minimal interference so that the local industries or other sectors of can operate on their own without much influence from the government. On the other side, which is the mercantilist, also advocated for protectionist policy, which stipulate that government must take total control of the economy with high tariffs and protection of the local industries. On the third point, and the third point is trade policy. With the trade policy, the physiocrats proposed a single tax on the land rent as a source of public revenue for the government, while the mercantilists believe that a single tax is not a way of accruing revenue for government. Therefore, they impose a multiple tax system on various goods and services as a source of revenue for government. With a fourth difference, we are going to look at economic focus. Under the economic focus, the Physiocrats emphasize the role of agriculture as most productive sector of the economy, while ignoring the rest as a least contributor to the economy. Whilst the mercantilists also with the view that um, the role of manufacturing and commerce are the most profitable sectors of the economy, and therefore much emphasis must be placed on that aspect. Thank you.
Okay. Group two, right? So we have
Yes,
Francis, Solomon, Ebenezer, and Anita, Amos, Achampo. All right. Do you have any questions for them?
Hello.
hi.
Do we have any questions for them?
Yeah, yeah, madam. Okay, my learned colleagues has
Hello.
yes. Hello, madam.
Are you
Please,
able
this
to
is
hear
George.
me?
Yes, please, madam.
Yes,
Yes, please, madam. My learned colleague has done
Class,
all the presentation.
are you able to hear
Hello,
me at
madam.
all?
Yes, please, madam. Hello, madam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, please. Yeah, my learned colleague
Are you
has
able to hear
done.
me?
yes,
Yes,
madam.
please. Yeah, please, group leader.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, madam.
please, group leader, kindly the presentation. My learned colleague has done all the presentation.
As in, can you audit and all that? Okay, who's going to look at?
Hello, please. Good morning. This is group 4. Please, we want to share our slide to someone so that you can enable us to project when it gets to our time. So please, anybody who is ready to offer us that kind of help, please let me know. I'm just begging you guys, please.
Please send it to me. Why? Send it to me.
Outside Solomon, I've seen your hands.
Yes.
Mr. Francis,
Hello, class.
Hello.
please
Hello.
can I please get a number?
Hello, class.
Hello. Mr. Francis, can I please get a number so I can send my slides to you? You project us for us. You project it for us.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Yeah.
madam.
All right. That's fine. Yeah. So I wanted us to ask them questions.
Yes.
Then we can see the way forward. Then we can start with the next group.
All right.
Who is speaking? Is this Solomon or? Please, if you are not speaking, mute yourself, okay?
Yes, I'm speaking. I'm ready to.
All right. Then let's hear from you, Solomon.
Yes. I want clarification from their presentation about the characteristics of the physiocracy. The principle practice. How was this a character to their practice? So, because in their slide, government should not interfere in economic activity. And what I know is the laissez-faire principle means that the economy should be left to regulate itself with minimal. So the word is what? Minimal government interference. So why were they saying the government should not interfere?
Thank you very much, Solomon, for your questions. So, group two. Any member from group two to answer this question? Group two,
Yes, madam.
please address the question by Osai Solomon.
Okay, madam, I think what you're saying, I think it's a letter error that appears when you said with no government intervention. I think with the laissez-faire, to allow the market to operate itself with lesser government intervention. And that is what you're saying, that we said no government intervention. So I think it was a little error that appeared there. And then, so we will take it in good heart. Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Ebenezer,
Yeah.
with you.
So
Hello.
I hope you get what I'm saying. So I think we will take it like it was a small error that occurred by saying with no, total no. So at least with little government intervention. So we will make that small correction.
Should restrict its function.
Okay, all right, that's fine. And so I've seen some hands by Lawrence and Francis. So let's hear from Francis. Francis.
Madam, please, as my brother said, here with the laissez-faire, the government will have a little control over it. So So it doesn't mean the government taking total control over the price or how they should go about it. But the government having a little, government will interfere in a little. So that is it. So for there is a typing error and correct it. Thank you.
Yeah, so how much is a little? How much is little? Like,
Yeah.
at what level are you going to classify it as little? How do
Uh,
you define little?
okay, madam, let me come in. I'm Amos. The little my colleague is talking about is something minimal. Maybe it might be the choice of the word, but he all what he's trying to communicate is government control should be minimal. So if you look at the slide, when he was presenting, he made it clear that the government influence things in that particular theory minimally. So everything is minimal. But just that when we were writing our write-ups, maybe there was a mistake there. That's why yes, it appeared like that. So when you continue reading the slide, they said the market is allowed to operate freely. Yes. So without the government allowing it, I don't think it will happen. So it's something minimal. So the word is minimal, not little. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to get that clarification. Because as soon as you say little, or like you're trying to say probably at a standard, or at a particular threshold, or beyond a particular threshold, or less than a particular threshold. So I just wanted to get that in there. Okay, so I've seen the cultural science. Let's hear from you.
Um, Thank you. Please, I want to know what caused the physiocratic school of thought to be in existence. What made it came up? Because if you look at the latter part of the presentation, they compare the physiocratic to the mercantilist. So that means that before the physiocratic, there was this mercantilist school of thought. So what brought the physiocratic school of thought? Thank you.
Group 2. We need member from group 2 to address this question.
Okay. Madam, it's me, Amos, and then I want to thank my colleague for the question. And what the benchmark for the argument is the school of thought are trying to see how wealth is generated in nations. And when you talk about wealth is not all about monetary way. It's not about money, but it's any asset that is valuable, and then it can be used to satisfy our unlimited wants. So the mercantilists hold a view that what generations in what generation there should be government interference, and then they also put views pertaining to commerce, and then um, production and other stuffs. But we talk about the physiocrats. The physiocrats, they argued out, and the main reason why they argued out that the main reason why they came with their thoughts is they believe that everything everything there is beginning, and in the beginning of everything
in what generation they believe agriculture. And when we talk about agriculture, we have the food production, we have the animal production, and then they believe agriculture is the basic unit of what generation. That's what they were arguing about. Thank you.
Have they answered your question? I'm not too sure about it. Have they answered your question, Lawrence?
No, please. You have to clarify it for me.
Yeah. I also think so. I also feel and think that they haven't addressed the question properly. All right, let's hear from
Okay,
you,
madam.
Francis.
Okay, so I'm looking at from this perspective. So the physiocrats, so they thought that agriculture is more important. So taking the France, for example, so agriculture importance in France. During the period, France economy depended largely on agriculture. Many thinkers observed that land was the main source of food. So land was the main source of food, employment, and also income, not industries or trade, which were small then. So way back, that aspect was in a small way. So they thought, or looking at the example that I gave, the agricultural sectors were the main source of food, employment, and income. So they conclude that agriculture produce a net surplus, something extra that sustain the rest of the economy. So that made them. So hope you have understand it all. Lawrence, are you clear now or Lawrence?
Uh,
Hello.
please, I'll say I'm 50% clear.
20%.
50%, please.
Are you okay,
50%. Oh,
Kosher?
okay.
Yes.
All right, so I've seen a couple of hands. Let's hear from Abba, then we'll come to Prince and Solomon. Please mute yourself if you are not talking.
Madam, please, it was a mistake.
Okay. All right, that's fine. So let's hear from our champion Prince.
Yeah, madam, I wanted to add something more to what Francis said about what brought the physiocratic thought. The mercantilist first believed that it is only gold and silver that bring wealth to a country or an economy, of which the physiocrat disagreed. So they later came up with another source of wealth for an economy, which they also saw that land produces more than what the mercantilists would believe. So this is some of the reasons why this school of thought came up. Thank you.
Are you okay with his submission?
Yeah, madam, I'm okay.
Madam, please, I
Hello.
want to come in.
Yes, Solomon, you can come in. And then later on, we
Yeah,
hear
so
from George as well.
I want to buttress what my brother said with this point. So the mercantilists, they emphasize or they emphasize on accumulation of precious metals and heavy government regulations of industry and trade. So the physiocrats, they viewed that these policies are artificial. So they believe they can prevent that mercantilism school of thought with the natural economic process. So the main reason why this school of thought came across is that they just want to replace the artificial way of generating fund to the natural economic process or the natural way of generating more fund. Thank you.
Okay, so let's hear from George too as well.
Okay, let me come in and say,
George, are you talking? Okay. Are you speaking, George? Okay.
Mr. George, we are listening. Okay, we can please talk.
George. Okay, so if we don't have any questions for them, let's
Madam, um,
hear from.
Madam, my hand is up.
All right, so let's hear from you.
Um, Thank you, learned colleagues, for answering. Yes, trying to address the question that I posted. I posed, sorry. Now, why I asked that question, and if I look at what the last member of the group said, the question was not about the differences between the mercantilist and then the physiocratic school of thought. I just wanted us to look at what brought the mercantilist school of thought. So, if from the explanation that they gave earlier on, I think we are trying to look at the mercantilist school of thought failure to recognize other sectors of the economy. That was when we have some economists who sat and realized that accumulation of wealth is not the only source of income of a state. They can also use other sectors, and they use the agriculture. And then, if you look at the economists or the proponents of this school of thought, majority of them were in Europe, and then they were French. So during that time, the French were involved in agriculture. So as we discussed earlier, that any economist or the decision of economists is influenced by the background of that economist. So the physiocratic school of thought was influenced by the background of the French. I think these are some of the things that I wanted them to just hammer on. And thank you.
All right. All right. Is there any more any okay, so let's hear from Solomon.
Um, my our course rep just said something that I need to clarify. I didn't make difference between mercantilists and then the physiocrats. What I said is the physiocrats, they viewed the policies of mercantilists as artificial, and so they believe that they can prevent the artificial way of generating fund to more or less natural way. So that is why they come up with the physiocrat school of thought. That is what I said. I didn't compare or do any comparison. Thank you.
All right. So point well noted. So now let's hear from group 4. Then we come to group 3 lastly.
Okay. Good morning, madam. Good morning, learner colleagues. I'm Williams. I will see group 4. Please, we have sent our slides to Mr. Francis for him to do the projection for us. So, Mr. Francis, please help us do that.
Okay, okay.
Hello.
Can
Hello,
hear
Mr.
you loud and clear.
Okay, so Mr.
Francis
Francis.
is still on the line.
Okay, so like I said, this is group 4. Good morning to everyone. Good morning to our lecturer. We are 6 in
Please,
number.
can you see it? Can you see it?
Yes, please. I can see it from my point here. I can see it from my end here, sorry. So we are 6 in number, and I am the group leader. We're supposed to go and look out for the meaning of Keynesian school of thought, and also explain 4 standpoints of this school and 4 weaknesses. That is A. The question B also demanded us to explain 4 differences between the classical and Keynesian school of thought. And the last question also demanded us to explain 4 similarities between the classical and the Keynesian school of thought. So please, whilst I'm done with the questions, I want to zoom straight to what we also have or have been able to put together. So the introduction. Microeconomics is shaped by various schools of economic thought, each with unique assumptions and perspective. Let us not forget that the Keynesian school of thought primarily was built on microeconomics. So that is why I started from the microeconomic side of view. I went ahead to say that comprehending classical and Keynesian economics is fundamental for students aiming for higher analytical and evaluative skills. As we are all aware, everywhere we find ourselves, economics is there. And for that matter, we need to do a critical analysis before we start any kind of business or in the economic and in the market situation. We don't just go to the market and start buying, or sometime when we hear authorities saying there is a whole lot of unemployment or blah blah, we need to first of all analyze that situation before we can also share our thoughts on. So that's why we're saying that comprehending practical and Keynesian economics is fundamental for students aiming for higher analytical and evaluative skills. And the major schools include classicals, neoclassicals, Keynesians, and neo-Keynesians, mainly grouped as classical versus the Keynesian school of thought. So we have various schools of thought. There are so many school of thought, sorry. But these available school of thought, that is the classicals, the neoclassicals, the Keynesians, and the neo-Keynesian have been grouped under 2 main school of thought, and that is the classical school of thought and the Keynesian school of thought. These school of economic thought are the classical and the Keynesian schools. Indeed, we are saying that they have become the backbone of modern macroeconomics. As we are aware, modern macroeconomics basically look at the country or the nation as a whole in terms of i.e. employment, inflation, and that what have you. So they say that it's the backbone of macroeconomics, and economic students can have the backbone to perform well if they comprehend the essence of these schools well. That is according to Musavian 2016. Now, we have to look out for the meaning of School of Economic Thought. So what is School of Economic Thought? We're saying that according to Musavian 2018, a School of Economic Thought is a group of economists who share common ideas about economic philosophy. They hold similar opinions on how the economy functions, and also usually apply similar methodologies in their analysis. I went ahead to say that the main school of economic thought that have emerged in the past few centuries include, like I have already mentioned them, the classicals, the neoclassicals, Keynesians, and the neo-Keynesians and neo-Keynesians, which can be classified under two broad categories of classical versus Keynesian. That's according to Arocha and Patel, 1995. So what do we mean by what do you mean by the the Keynesian school of economic thought? The Keynesian school of economic is a school of economic thought formed primarily based on the various existing theories, of which I have already mentioned some of them, the neoclassicals and the classicals, about how economic output, and here we are referring to aggregate supply, is strongly influenced by aggregate demand in the short run. So basically, the Keynesian school of economic thought, they primarily focused on short-term run issues. They were not focusing on the long-term running in terms of economics. So the Keynesian economists claim that aggregate demand can be influenced by multiple factors and sometimes can behave very erratically and consequently affect the level of output, employment, inflation, employment and inflation. That is according to Johan and Papa Giorgio. Stand to be corrected, that's 2014. So here, what they are saying is that in a country where there is employment, where there is inflation issue or unemployment issue, what causes that? And if we're able to find out for the meaning of these causes, what best way in terms of the short run term can we come together as a whole to solve it or get a solution to it? That is what they are trying to say over here. Now, the Keynesian school was founded by John Maynard Keynes. It's a macroeconomic framework that emphasizes total spending as the primary driver of economic output and employment in the short run. Keynesian argued that economies can settle at less than full employment equilibrium due to insufficient demand. That is, wage of price and rigidity and psychological factors influencing spending and investment. So this perspective contrasts with classical theories that rely on flexible prices and wages, says law and automatic market clearing. As a tendencies, Keynesian advocates active policy tools, especially fiscal policy. Now, when we talk about fiscal policy, we're talking about government spending and taxation in a country. And in some strands, monetary policies to manage demand, stabilize cycles, and reduce unemployment. As we are all aware, human wants are unlimited. And while they are unlimited, we have scarce resources. So how we are able to manage these scarce resources and put it into a very usable way is what we are talking about here. And that is what the Keynesian school of thought is just emphasizing on. Now, please, I want to end here for my my group members to also continue. Thank you. So group 4 member, please, those who are online, please take it from where I ended. Group 4 members, please. Our lecturer and our learner colleagues are waiting for us, please. Someone should take it from where I also ended. Thank you.
Hey, group 4. Why? Who are the other group of students who are supposed to present?
Madam, please, group 3.
No, I'm talking about group
Okay,
4.
sorry.
The one presenting, the group presenting now.
William, are your members online?
So we have Festus, we have Asamoah Kwame, we have Seidu, we have Williams, we have Yvonne, Angelina. Where are they?
Hello.
Wow.
Madam.
Yeah.
Whilst my members are not online, this is Williams I will see speaking. Can I please proceed?
So where are they? Like, I don't understand. Are they not aware of this presentation or
Madam,
something
they
like
are
that?
they are aware. They are aware. Honestly speaking, they are aware. Even this morning, I even chat them in the group that today is a D-Day. So everybody must be on board. I don't know what is happening.
How come you are the only one? Let me look into the people that are. So we have Festus Kwame, and he's
Yes.
not in class right now. He's not part of those in class right now.
Okay.
Asamoah Kwame too is also not part of those in class right now. Ralph Seidu, he's also not here. Williams, you are here.
Madam here. Yes,
Yvonne,
madam.
Yvonne is not here. Angelina too is not here. So you just don't worry. You can just continue with the rest of the presentation, and I know what to do. That's
Okay,
fine.
madam. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. So please, like I was saying, we've now gotten to the standpoint of the Keynesian school of thought. And the first standpoint says that demand side management is essential for stabilization. Demand side management is essential for stabilization. So shifts in aggregate demand determine output and employment in the short run. So government should actively influence demand to prevent or mitigate recession. So the Kenyans, they were of the view that, they argued that total spending by consumers, business, and government is the key determinant of production and employment. So here, what the Keynesians were saying is that in order for us to employ more people, it depends on how businesses and government spend their resources or manage their resources. So, for example, in a country like Ghana here, if our government, both the past government and the current government, when they come to power, if they are able to establish more companies, it means that's in the short run, it means that more people graduating from the tertiary institutions will be will be absorbed in today's companies or industry for them to get themselves job. But here's the case: if a business is unable to spend his resources, excuse me, from wisely, that business or that company are going to find it difficult to expand. Going to find it difficult to expand its territory. And while they are finding it difficult to expand their territory, it means that they cannot offer employment to many people. So that is what the first point is talking about. So demand side management is essential for stabilization. So if we want to stabilize our economy, then it means that we need to be managing how we spend our resources. So the second point talks about price and wage stickiness lead to utilization resources. What do we mean by that? Wages and price do not adjust instantly to clear markets, contract norms, and information frictions delay adjustments, causing persistent unemployment and idle capacity. Unlike classical economists, Keynesians recognize that prices and wages can be sticky, not adjusting quickly enough to restore full employment after a shock. This rigidity can amplify market failure. So here, what they also mean is that if we decide to make the pricing of goods and services in the country so rigid or very cumbersome that people of the lower class cannot even buy common items within the market space, then it means that not all the resources that is available to the country will be able to be, it means that not all the resources in the country will be able to be utilized, because it's only few people who are able to buy certain product because of the rigidity of the prices that is being attached to these products that we find in the country. So here they set a clear example that, for example, many young unemployed workers in Ghana set reservation wages. That's the minimum wage level at which they are willing to work, higher than what employee offers. So leading to persistent unemployment. What we're talking about is that, for example, if the wage level for the employees is very high, for example, I have myself a business, and I have pitched the salary of my workers to be, let's say, 20,000 per month. The question is, how many people can I even employ at the end of the year or within a quarter? Once the stipends that I've given to them as a salary at the end of the month is very high, it means that I can't take in more. So once I can't take in more, don't forget that we have graduates coming from the tertiary institution, of which they also coming in with fresh mind and ideas. So what we are saying is that the price and wages thickness lead to unutilized resources. And that is what is happening. Let me say Ghana here. We have so many graduates outside there, but they find it difficult to get employed. Why? Because the kind of salary that certain institutions, those working over there, are taking is very huge. So these big institutions find it difficult to employ many people at the end of the day. So we move. We're still on the standpoint. The third one is multiplier effect and non-neutrality of fiscal policy. So physical action can have amplified effects on output through the spending multiplier and induce changes in income, consumption, and investment. That is according to Keynes 1936/1964. The Keynesian standpoint on multiplier effects and non-neutrality of fiscal policy means that when government spendings money or invest in the country, it does not just create an equal amount of economic activity activity. It creates a larger impact. This is called the multiplier effect. For example, if the government of Ghana spend money on building roads, the workers get paid. So this example just gives us a vivid view of the meaning or as to the meaning of multiplier effect. So I repeat, if the government of Ghana spends money on building roads, the workers get paid and spend their income on goods and services, which in turn support other jobs and businesses. So what they are trying to mean here is that now government is about to construct, let's say, road from Ofankor barrier to, let's say, in Sawam. Now, the contractor that has been contracted to construct that kind of road, whether they like it or not, they need to employ more people. And these people are going to be paid. So when these people are paid, automatically they cannot just work without feeding themselves. So they end up using their salary to even feed for themselves. Sorry, to feed for themselves, to rent to rent or even buy cars for themselves just for them to find it easy to go to work. In so doing, other businesses or people doing other business of which they were not employed in the construction sector have also gotten their fair share of these people their salary. So that is what we mean by the multiplier effect and non-neutrality of fiscal policy. Then last but not the least, on the standpoint is policy activism and macroeconomic stabilization as a normative aim. The state has a constructive role in smoothing business cycles, supporting aggregate demand, and promoting full employment, even if this means tolerating short-run inflation or debt in the process. Canadians believe that private sector decisions can sometimes lead to negative macroeconomic outcomes, such as deep recession, and therefore proactive policies like government spending or tax cuts are needed to stabilize the economy. Here too, what we mean is that the government must be proactive in terms of it trying to stabilize the economy so that everybody will be able to at least fit into it. Because if government decide to leave the control of the whole economy, to bracket the microeconomy, in the hands of these private people, sometimes they will be taking decisions that will favor them alone without considering the low level person in the country or in the society. So what government is doing is that government find ways and means of making sure that taxes are being controlled and also inflations are being controlled. Sometimes we see, for example, let me use last year's the way our economy was moving. Last year inflation was a bit high, and the CD to dollar rate was also high. So because of that, price of goods and services within this country shoot up. Why? Because whilst price of goods and services are moving up, it's not everybody who can afford these goods and services. By so doing, government has to take a quick and a very decisive decision on how to control the economy, so that at least the low level, citizenry will be able to also maneuver his or her way out. We move on to the weaknesses or critiques of the Keynesian framework. So, what other school of thought also are saying about the weaknesses of this Keynesian school of thought is that one, long run neglect and inflation risk critique. It means that the Keynesian school of thought, they rejected or they did not consider the long run in terms of inflation. But because they are saying this because the Canadian school of thought, they basically base their school of thought on short run. So like I said, the critics argue that focusing on short run demand management can ignore long run consequences, such as inflationary pressure and debt sustainability, especially if policy is mistimed or credibly offset by expectations. Critics argue that Canadian policies, especially excessive government spending, can lead to high inflation and debt when sustained over the long term. So if government decide to expend excessively, without considering other sectors. What they are saying is that inflation may end up shooting up or rising up. Now, the theories focus on short-run stabilization sometimes underplays the risk of inflation and physical imbalances. It is not every project in the country that can be executed within the short-run time frame. So these people, the first critique is that the Canadian school of thought ought to be considering the long-term run in terms of management of the economy. The second point also is talk about insufficient clarity on debt dynamics and crowding out. So in open economics or over the long term, physical expansion may crowd out private investment or lead to higher interest rates, challenging the factual efficacy of sustained deficit. That's according to Barrow 1989, Hines 1990. Crowding out of an economic situation where increased government borrowing or spending reduces the amount of money available to private businesses and individuals to borrow and spend. So, for example, when the government borrows a lot, it can push up interest rates, making loans more expensive for businesses. This can discourage private investment and spending limits. So, what we are saying here is that if they say insufficient clarity on debt dynamics and crowding, what they are saying here is that the more government goes in, or the more government go to the world market, i.e., the IMF, to borrow money with the intention of coming to use that money to develop, the country. What we are saying is that basically the interest on loan will shoot up, and once interest on loan goes up, business people, individuals find it difficult to even access loan at the bank because, for example, maybe you have the intention of going in for 10,000 cedis, and they will tell you that the interest on it for just a quarter maybe will be 40%, of which that person who is going in for that loan is going to find it difficult to make that kind of payment at the end of the first quarter. So whether we like it or not, we'll be going back. That is why they said insufficient clarity on debt dynamics and crowding out. Now, we're still on the weaknesses. The third weakness is empirical uncertainty about persistence and effectiveness. Now, we said that the magnitude and persistence of multipliers vary across episodes and countries, making it difficult to rely on consistent rule for policy. That's Ramey 2019 and Cristiano Etchingsven and Rebello 2011. Now, in simple terms, when governments use Keynesian ideas like increasing spending to boost the economy, economists are not always sure if the effects stick around for a longer time or if they really fix the problems as intended. This uncertainty makes it hard to confidently rely on Canadian policy because the outcome vary and sometimes do not meet expectation. So here too, what we are saying is that the more and more government goes in to borrow, we cannot sustain it that indeed, while government has gone in to borrow money, the economy will be sustained or the economy will be brought to a level that everybody will be okay. No. So what we're saying is that economists cannot vividly say that whilst government has brought in more money just to boost that economy, automatically inflation is going to go down or price of goods and services are going to go down. So that's what they are talking about. And last but one, challenges in implementation due to political and institutional constraints. Real world policy is shaped by politics, time lags, and commitment problems. What basically to this point, a typical example is mixed evidence on the effectiveness of fiscal and monetary policy and stimulating sustained economic growth. Now, Studies examine Ghana's economy over recent decades reveal that while government spending and fiscal stimulus sometimes result in short-term boost in the economy, activity in the economic activity, the long-term persistence of this effect is uncertain. Here, what we're trying to say is that sometimes government will go out there, look for money with the intention of making sure that everybody in the economy is okay. At least not 100%, but maybe at the minimal level, everybody's okay. But here is the case. Some government policies wouldn't enable the citizenry to even see this kind of economic boost that the government is just putting in place. Not just government policies alone, sometimes to institutional policies will not even pave way for other individuals and businessmen to also maneuver their way out. So what we're saying is that in terms of we trying to make sure that the economy is being run at the level of which everyone is okay. Certain policies from the government and also certain policies from businesses will not allow the individual to find his way out. Now we'll move on to look at for the differences between the classical and the Keynesian school of thought. Don't
Yeah,
forget that we're talking.
William, you have done so well. I want you to wrap it up for us, okay?
Okay,
Then,
then let me just. Okay,
yeah,
so
sure.
for the differences, we'll talk about view of the labor market and unemployment.
Please, let me take
Yes, sir.
the differences.
Pardon me.
Who is that?
This
Who is that?
Sedu Rauf Alale. I have network problems, so that's why.
We constant were here waiting for all of you, and you guys were nowhere to be found. And
No,
you
it's
just
my network.
appear.
It's my network. Where I'm coming from, we have network problems. So I'm currently somewhere as I had this little network.
Hmm.
Madam, please. So what should I do now, madam, please?
Yeah.
Hello, madam.
Okay. So yeah, William, it's fine. So we can just leave this for him. Okay. You have done so well. I'm so proud of you. Okay.
Okay.
You have
Thank you,
done well.
madam. Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
so grateful. So, Mr. Rao, please take it forward from the differences, but please make it a bit snappy, because we spend a lot of time here on our slides alone. Mr. Rao.
Ralph,
Yes, please.
please continue.
Okay, the differences between the classical and the Keynesian school of thoughts are as follows. So they have different views, and then I will look at the classical view first before the Keynesian view. So the classical view says that view of the labor market and unemployment. So classical view said that unemployment is likely voluntary and the labor market clears quickly. Wages and prices adjust to adequate supply and demands. So unemployment is mostly the result of external friction or structural issues rather than the deficiency of aggregate demand. In the long run, the economy tends towards full employment as flexible wages and prices restore equilibrium. That's what law and neoclassical supply side reasoning. So they are saying that labor market on unemployment is likely voluntary and then the labor market clears quickly. So what they are trying to say is that unemployment is as a result of what? External frictions, not the deficiency of aggregate demands. That's what classical views see it.
So
And then
please, Rav, don't read the slide for us. The slide is just here to guide you on what exactly to say. But if you are reading the slide for us, then there's no difference. Okay, so you just look at the point, and it just guides and remind you of what to say and what not to say. So you are not supposed to read everything here verbatim, word by word. There can go. No, you are not supposed to do that for us. Are you able to hear me clearly, Ralph? Ralph.
hello, Mr. Ralph. Mr. Ralph.
All right.
Mr. Problem. Hey, 4 minutes. Mr. Ralph.
Okay, so since he just left, then that is the end of it, because it's a presentation. You're supposed
That is
to
true.
read the word by word to us. You
But
are just
Madam,
supposed
please,
to explain the point for us.
okay.
Is
Madam,
he in class? Yes, William.
please, let me just shorten it for the class. In terms of the differences. So
Okay.
please, I just brought a table which
Ralph, oh,
explains
hold
so
on,
so
hold on.
simple.
Ralph is still in class. I don't know whether he can hear us. Ralph.
I don't I don't think so. Madam, respectfully, let me just use the
Okay,
table
sure.
to simplify the differences.
All
So
right,
there's a
sure.
there's a table on the screen. It's been categorized into three. We have the aspect as the first category, the classical school of thought, and also the Keynesian. Now, the aspect is what the classicals and the Keynesian school of thought based on to differentiate between these two major school of thought. The first one talks about time zone. So, like I said earlier on, the classicals, they deal with long term. I mean, they focus on the long term, and the Canadian also have their focus on the short term run. Now, when you come to the second on the list under aspect, we have market behavior. It's saying that the classicals market clear, I mean, through flexible prices and wages. But when it gets to the Canadian, the market may not clear due to rigidities, because for them, they always price their, I mean, their goods and services at a specific price, making it a very rigid. But with the classicals, for them, they are a bit flexible. They want everyone to just go through, be able to buy something or access a service from, I mean, an institution, whatever. Well, we move on to main concern. The main concern of the classicals was economic growth. So the classicals, the main propounders of the classicals is Adam Smith and Ricardo and Matos. And also, when it gets to Canadians, is it the business cycles and recessions? Business cycles and recession. That one was funded by John Maynard Keynes. So the policy view, how did they view their policy? We're saying that the classicals, they have a minimal government intervention, very minimal, not a very huge one. But when you move into the Canadian, for them, their policy view is active physical and monetary policy. So it to bracket for that, they purposely deal with the economy. The Canadian purposely deal with the economy. That is, i.e., the employment rate, and the inflations within the economy. So move on to supply versus demand. You're saying the classicals, they place much emphasis on supply side, while the Canadian also play much emphasis on the demand side. Price and wages assumption. Now we're saying that classicals, for them, they have something we call as fully flexible. So the price and wages of, I mean, goods and services are very flexible, but Canadian, it is rigid. Unemployment. The unemployment and the classicals, we're saying that they are voluntary and temporal. For them, they will not employ you for, let's say, for life. The kind of employment is just a short-term period, the voluntary and also temporal. But with the Canadians, it is involuntary and persistent. Expectation, that is rational. The classical is rational. The Canadian is also emotional or bounded rationality. Micro foundations or foundation, by saying that the classicals for them, they, in terms of micro foundation, they are very strong and consistent. But Canadian, for them, they hold on to historic weak, but improved in new Canadian models. So we are saying that finally, the founders of these two classes of economic thought is that under classicals, the classical were founded by Adam Smith, Ricardo, and Matos, and also the Canadian was also was founded by John Maynard Keynes. Then there's something called similarities. In terms of similarity, we are looking at what is here and also what is here. Don't forget that we're all talking about both the Canadians and that of the classicals. So both of them recognize that money matters for national variables. Secondly, they both also recognize that long-term, long-run relevance of productivity, technology, and supply. So it means that it means that the Canadian who emphasize demand in the short run recognize the role of supply side element in certain growth trend. So they both have recognized long-run relevance of productivity, technology, and supply. And they both also hold on to the importance of expectations in influencing economic outcomes. And lastly, but not the least, they both also acknowledge fiscal policy that can have real effects. So this is the conclusion of our work. I'm so grateful for our honorable lecturer and also my learned colleague. Thank you all. This is group 4, William Sausi. I'm done, please.
All right. Thank you very much, William, for this wonderful presentation. This is a very good presentation. Trust me, I'm so proud of you for being able to take on all aspect of the slide, even without your people. So this shows how prepared you were and all of that. So congratulations to you, Williams. Well
Thank you, madam.
done. Thank you. Yeah, so I'll know what to do with your other colleagues. So I don't want to speak about it. All right. So
Okay.
do we have any questions, any submission? Or say Solomon. Let's hear from you.
Okay, thank you. Please, my question, I want to know the meaning of the word aggregate demand and also the difference between fiscal policy and physical policy. Thank you.
You said you want to know the difference between the meaning of aggregate demand and what again?
The meaning of aggregate demand and the difference between fiscal policy and physical policy.
Fiscal what?
Fiscal policy and physical policy.
Fiscal policy and physical policy.
Yes.
Are you talking about fiscal like FIS and physical like PHYSICAL?
Yes, please.
Are you talking about that, Solomon?
Yes.
Do we have anything like fiscal policy?
Yeah, in the presentation on the standpoint of the Canadian School of Thought, they made mention of fiscal
Policy and physical policy. Okay. Yeah, so I'll Williams, so you can
Madam.
just address that shortly for us.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Madam, when we talk of aggregate demand, it simply means the total demand for goods and services within a particular market. Hello, please, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So basically, we all go to the market to buy goods or to at least render services or, seek for other services from other institutions. Well, so anytime at all we talk about aggregate demand, basically the emphasis is on demand. Don't forget, we have demand and supply. Here, aggregate demand simply means that the total, the total demand for goods and services within a particular market. So, for example, let me just create this simple example. Let's say that we've all gone to ShopRite. Like we're 100 in number, or let's say 200 in number. But 100 of us went in to buy Samsung TV. So at the end of the day, how many people demanded or how many people went in for the Samsung TV? So anytime at all we talk about aggregate demand, this is what we're talking about. The total demand.
Okay. All right, William. So I don't intend to cut you short, but when you talk about aggregate demand, you are not looking at just that demand in the market. Okay, we are looking at the total demand in an economy. So that's why in the Keynesian school of thought, they brought about aggregate demand function, C plus I plus G plus export minus import. So C stands for consumption, investment, government spending plus exports minus imports. Okay, so this is what we mean by aggregate demand. So not about the total demand in the market, but we are looking at the aggregate or the total demand in an economy, looking at consumption, looking at investment, looking at government spending, exports and minus imports, and all of these is talking about aggregate demand.
Okay, thank you, madam. I'm so grateful for your input. So, Malene Kodi, I hope you now understand the meaning of aggregate demand based on what our honorable lecturer said. We also, asking about the fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is the use of government spending and taxation.
Yes, I'm saying that just go ahead and address this question about the difference between fiscal and physical policy.
Please, I'm on the physical policy. He posed a question on.
Hello, class. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, madam.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, madam. Please, we can hear you.
We can hear you, madam.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Madam, we can hear you. We can hear you.
So, my brother, like I said, fiscal policy is when government use taxation to influence the economy. So, like I said, fiscal policy is the use of government spending and taxation to influence the economy. So, when we talk about government spending, as individuals as we are, within the year, we all plan that we from January to, let's say, 20 to December this year, how many in terms of money affairs, what is going to be my spending? Am I to spend, let's say, 10,000 within this year, or 20,000 or 50,000? So we are saying that fiscal policy is the use of government spending and taxation to influence the economy. So government in the whole within the year comes out with a plan and a specific amount of money to the various sectors of the economy. So, for example, education. I'm giving you guys, let's say, 1 billion deposits. Use it to influence that sector. So when these kind of things happen, that is what we term it as fiscal policy. In terms of taxation, when taxes when taxes of goods and services goes up, you see that workers will also end up yearning for more increment, like what is happening. So it falls within the prerogative of the government to make sure that these things are being controlled and managed within the country. So this is the main of fiscal policy. And we're saying that government also use this fiscal policy to promote strong and sustainable growth by reducing poverty. So as workers as we are, at the end of the day, if government is giving us a 10 cedi, there's no way you'll be able to get rid of poverty. So what government is going to do that? Why don't I increase your salary a bit by pushing it, let's say 50 cedis? So by so doing, more or less, you'll be out of that net that we call as poverty. So government will make sure things are put in place so that workers and people living in the country are okay. Please, I think I've been able to explain your question. Hello? Network. Hello? 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 Mr. Say, please mute yourself. Mr. Say. Hello?
Please, we are here.
I think the network
We
is
are here.
bad. Yes, so
Williams,
the
we are
question that okay, sir. The question that my learner colleague asked, this is what I can say about it. I don't know if there's any question. In fact, this my group members, they have failed me, bro.
Please, I have a question, if I'm permitted to ask.
My brother, please go ahead.
Okay. My question is, looking at the Canadian economics, I want you to explain how government spending is controlled during recessions.
Can you
And
please,
also,
can you please repeat your question,
I'm
sir?
saying,
Yeah.
I'm saying that how
Okay.
does the Kenyan economists explain the role of government spending during recessions? If you get the question.
He said, how does government spend?
Government spending is controlled during recessions.
During recession. So
So yes, please, I'm back. I had a little technical issues, but you guys should go easy on Williams, okay? He's the only one presenting for group 4, which means there's so much pressure on him.
Guys, calm down,
Okay,
okay,
calm down. Level down for Williams. He's the only one. Okay, so calm down. I wanted to say this before I had some technical issues. So relax for him. He begs. Okay.
Let's allow him.
I tell madam, I beg this one. The begging is even more than 1,000 plus. I beg, I beg. Malele Koli, just pardon me for today, all right? I beg.
Yeah. So please.
I'm overwhelmed.
We can address all the questions about the Keynesian and classical school next.
The network is not helping. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. I think there's a technical glitch, sir.
Sure, sure. I think since
Yeah. So so sorry about today's technical issues. It's just so overwhelming. And so, just as I was saying, please mute yourself if you are not talking. Solomon will say, mute yourself if you are not talking. Solo. Yeah, so I was saying that let's reserve all the questions for me, okay? Let's reserve all the questions for me. Then I wanted group 3 to present, but looking at the time that we are left with, it's just I don't think we'll be able to do the presentation for group 3. So we'll go through our likely questions and examinable questions next week, God willing. Is there any problem? I'm seeing some chats in the chat section. Is there any problem? Just raise up your hand if you have any concerns, then I can address it. Then we can say bye-bye for now. Yeah, let's hear from you, Samuel.
Madam, please, would there be any other time so that we can present or it ends it?
Now I can't hear. I can't hear you properly.
Madam.
I wasn't able to hear you,
Okay, I
Samuel.
said, would there be any other time or chance of which we can present later?
Williams, please mute yourself, okay?
Okay, madam. Okay.
Yeah. So unless we wait next week,
Okay.
next week at this time, I'm sure we'll be meeting next week, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the meeting next week. So as soon as we meet next week, then we can have your presentation. Then we'll also look at solve some questions and all that. So if you have any questions, yeah. Yeah, so send all your questions, the units that you don't understand properly, the questions that you need more clarifications, the concepts you need more clarifications to my email. Them accordingly. Okay.
Yeah. So, madam, with the group three, should we try send? I don't know whether you have received our own through your email.
Okay. I'll check that. I'll check that shortly. But send all your works. I hope you have sent all your works to my email. I'll receive a notification. And all that I'm saying is that if you have any questions, any units that you don't really understand properly, you can send all of these to my email. Then I know what to tackle next week and what not to tackle next week. Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Okay, madam.
Yes, madam.
Yes,
We can
please, we
hear
can
you.
hear you. Well
All
noted.
right. All right. All right. All right.
We are so grateful.
All right. So thank you very much to each one of you, and congratulations to group one, congratulations to group two, congratulations to William Owusi
Madam.
of group four, because he was the only one that presented for group four, so I can't mention group four. I just have to say Williams.
Thank you, madam.
Yes.
I will see.
Yeah, and we see. Congratulations to you all. Congratulations to Osei Solomon. Yes, I've seen you. Everyone. Congratulations to all of you that presented. I'm so proud of you. And let's meet next week. Enjoy your weekend. And as I always say, laugh more and just enjoy the moments that life brings. Okay, don't disturb yourself too much about what will happen in life. Okay, laugh more and enjoy life. Okay, see you next
Okay.
weekend.
Bye bye.
All
Same to
right,
you, madam. Have a nice day.
bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, please, guys, can we have all the slides here? Individuals and the groups.
Okay.
Please, if you are a group leader here, please kindly list the members of your group.
So
You list their name, or you copy the one that you have in your slide. The names with their index numbers. Send it. Honestly speaking, you guys have made this very difficult. Seriously. That means on me taking the slides, taking the names, the index numbers, and I am yet to do that. Please, let's all do this for me.
So
Madam
we
is getting.
you are the only person in group four, eh? Only person in group four. Hey, group four, only one member.
Please, I hope we heard what I said. Please kindly get me your list. I have the list. You will post the list, and then someone will say, I'm in this group, I'm in that group. Please get me the list. Let me just compile the list and send it to Madam immediately, please.
Okay, sir. Okay.